Mia.
Hi,
So you're in Florida, right?
I am in Florida, out in the
Very cool.
South.
Um, Nice to meet you. I'm JC, and well, it's very kind from you to come here and share your experience as a developer on Roblox.
Thank you.
We have many questions. I hope you will be okay to answer most of them.
Yeah,
But
I'll try my best.
many questions because you've been doing this for quite a long time, isn't it?
Yeah,
How old were you when you started?
I started in 2014 development, right when I started joining on the platform. So I was about 10 years old.
All right. We're super young.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely different. I didn't have the intent of creating games as much as I do now, but here I am.
Okay. And how did you find Roblox at that time?
Um, it's kind of a crazy story. It kind of just happened by chance. So in that at that time, I was living in St. Louis, and I went to the library all the time. Not to really get books, but because I wanted to borrow PBS Kids movies and some Lego Wii games. So I went there all the time. But I remember one day seeing in this kid's computer area, there's this kid playing this really cool game that, or at least I thought it looked cool. And I had no idea who this is, but I walked up to him and asked what it was, and he said it was Roblox. So this was about in 2010. So in 2010, I started playing Roblox as a guest, and I had a lot of fun. This is kind of the era of like Survive the Disasters, Terra and Bikini Bottom, Catalog Heaven, Stop It Slender, stuff like that. Um, but I had no account during this time, and that kind of frustrated me because I couldn't save progress. I couldn't earn tickets, which were another currency at the time. I couldn't customize my avatar. So 4 years later, I made my account, which was originally named C55996G. Um, and that was 2014 was like a great era of Roblox games. Around that time, that's when Don't Blink came out, Apocalypse Rising, Mad Paintball, Zed Defense, and Darkness. Like those were all, oh, excuse me, those were all like kind of around the market. Um, but I also noticed that when I made the account, I noticed that making games was an option. Um, and before Roblox, I had already had programming experience using Small Basic and Scratch, so I had some of the concepts in my head. And so in 2014, I started officially experimenting with Studio. Sorry, that was a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So you're 18.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
turning 19 actually in a few days.
Turning 19. Great. And so 18 and running your own studio. How exciting is this?
It's kind of wild.
Are you having a lot of fun?
Yeah, I mean, I love game development, so if I were to do anything else, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be having as good as a time as I'm having right now.
So you're in college, right?
Hmm.
How how do you see your career path?
Um, it's kind of up in the air. I definitely am in college right now to make sure it's kind of a backup plan because I don't know if Roblox will be a forever thing or if it'll just have a limited lifespan. I don't know if it's still in the growth or mature phase of a business right now. It's really hard to tell. And so I'm in college just to make sure that I have knowledge outside of Roblox so that I can land a job somewhere else, but also helps me solidify some of my ideas within Roblox. Having some core concepts I can drag from C++ to Lua, such as thinking in a more object oriented approach, or just something that makes more sense in an industry standard style. Um, so, with that in mind, with my career, hopefully I can stick with Roblox, but part of me is considering leaving the Roblox platform eventually to start creating games on Game Jolt and Steam.
Okay, great. So when you started developing on Roblox, where did you find inspiration for creations? Was it in your your everyday life, or games that you thought were missing on the platform? How did you do?
Well, the inspirations definitely changed drastically over time. When I first started, my inspiration, believe it or not, came from free models. And free models, are the things that you drag from the toolbox to make your game. It's what like new
Yep.
game developers use all the time. But sometimes I remember finding a free model and being like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! I have to make a whole game around this. This is just the coolest free model I've ever found." It can be something completely random. It can be like camera bobbing and interaction system and NPC. But I was like so blown away by like this is so complicated. I just have to make a whole game around it. And so that's what I did. A lot of my earliest creations started from those free models. But it's definitely different now. As I've kind of learned a lot more and definitely gone away from using those free models. Over the past few years, they've rooted from ideas that I would just kind of randomly think of. So basically, I kind of daydream a little bit too much. And sometimes I actually kind of stumble across an idea I haven't really seen before. And so sometimes I'll kind of latch onto that and then immediately write it down on a post it note. And some of those post it notes have actually turned into the games that you see now.
Well, that's a very inspiring story. I mean, having you starting so young, developing on Roblox and running your own studio at 18 years old. I've just seen you've got 70K group members. It's
Yeah.
huge. I mean, yeah. Can you tell us a bit more about the games you develop and you still update?
Okay. I would definitely say about the games I've worked on.
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of hard. Over all my time on Roblox, I've created about 1 to 200 games on my profile. And between all my groups, I've created around 50, and that's just on my active groups. I've probably created about 100 more on my previous groups. I've also contributed to games such as Games Unite, Combat Warriors, Vroom Broom, Ragdoll Simulator, Superhero Tycoon, and more. I personally would say my favorite game that I've ever
really.
worked on is Caliber. And it's not even finished yet. It's been in development for a few years. And even if it doesn't take off, I had so much of a good time working on it. I've learned so much. It's been remade so many times because every time I learn something new in programming, I'm like, everything I learned before is out the window. So I'm redoing it completely. And so, it's my favorite game that I've worked on because it's a testament to how I've evolved as a game developer.
Can you tell us a bit more when you started? What maybe you found difficult, or have you been supported or helped by other developers in the community?
So I definitely did not have support when I first started developing. I didn't know any creators. I didn't even have a Discord account when I first started making games. I was really young, of course, being 10. And so I was just kind of doing it for fun. I never really had the intention of making it big. My family, I know some people are like, oh, my family isn't like doesn't take Roblox seriously. And my family definitely did not either. And so I definitely know how that feels. I didn't have the support of developers. I definitely did not have the support of my family. So I was kind of a lone wolf on this. But there is one thing I could say to creators that or people that want to be creators is that well anybody can become a creator for their career. It just takes a lot of time and effort to get somewhere worth it. You're going to be spending a lot of your time doing something that's just going to feel like you're getting nowhere, but you'll eventually get somewhere. I mean, for every 1 hour that you have success now, you probably spent 1,000 hours failing before. But all I can say is just that you can continue to try. Um, don't make games because you expect them to take off, but definitely try to learn more and more from each game you make. But even assuming, let's say you do want to make a game that you want to take off, you have to again keep trying. You have to take your time. Plan it out. Always run your ideas by people and keep developing it until you have something solid. I would say my advice for someone who wants to actually take off on the platform is you will need to take that time. Um, you can't make a game without a good plan, and you can't make a good with a good plan without good planners. And so I would definitely just spend more time planning almost than making the game, because then it'll make your game better.
Well, thank you. So it's like, so Dubbit is building kind of a network and platform where all the developers, all their talents of Roblox can meet and team up to build experiences or to update or extend, etc. So um, uh, I mean, Dubbit is your second family because we can provide tools, we can provide grants wants to build stuff in the metaverse in Roblox, etc. Your personal story is really relevant for us and for many kids in the world, I think, because most of the time family can't understand. My own family did not really understand when I said that my business was gaming. Gaming is gaming. It's a game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. But could you tell us what was your biggest mistake, if you did any mistake,
I
when you
I definitely had a
started?
lot of
Or
mistakes. That would be definitely arrogant to say I haven't. I would definitely say there's this mistake that I made in the beginning that I still make to this day. 20, I mean, just years and years and years later, I'm still making the same mistake. And that is thinking that what I'm doing is the best way of doing it. In 2014 and 2015, I thought that more scripts and more code meant a better game. I thought if you put 1,000 scripts in a game, your game was just the coolest thing on the planet. I mean, nobody can make a game better coded than you. Of course, anybody who's a developer that has experience now knows that that's just common sense. That's not true. Um, even last year, I used to think that everything had to be put into a single framework, and there can only be 2 scripts in your game at most. I know now maybe that's a bit of a mistake because it puts the limitations, and it might affect your memory poorly. And so as I go through my development career, I have to keep telling myself what I'm doing now is probably not as good as it could be done. There's always going to be a way better to do it, and that's applies to programming, but applies to everything else. Modeling, graphic design, trailer editing, music production, anything. There's always a better way to do what you're doing. Don't think that what you're doing is the best way, because I'm telling you right now, you suck and you need to improve.
okay, that's it. You suck.
You suck. Everybody sucks, and that's the way to
You
rule.
suck. You are absolutely right. Is how to make it better. Just you need to know that someone is doing it better somewhere,
Hmm.
and you want to achieve something. Um, you've worked with a huge brand recently.
Hmm.
Uh, can you tell us a bit more about this partnership?
Uh, well, it's interesting because the owner of the development studio, Outstanding Move, just recently hired as they were developing the event. So I got hired originally to do the concert, which ended up being taken by a different studio. Fun fact, I actually developed all of the concert visuals, and then all of them got scrapped because they were taken by that other Roblox game, which is fine. But it was a little bit weird to come in on the studio, and the first thing is like, okay, you're working for Crocs now, and it's just strange. It wasn't really intimidating per se, and it wasn't really pressuring, but it definitely kind of was actually a pain, because when you add a corporate entity to a small development studio, then it kind of just slows things down, and adds a lot of unneeded steps and delays. Um, so I would say, working with Crocs was awesome. Oh, I definitely would not undo that experience, but working corporate is definitely something that's eh, kind of just mid.
All right, great. You've been to RDC this year, right?
Hmm.
Was it your first time?
No, it was actually my second time.
Oh, really? Right.
Hmm.
Cool. What did you learn or got from this year's RDC?
Well, I mean, the first thing I could say is it was very different than last year. It was massive. I mean, last year was like 200 people in person. I went in person both last year and this year. And this year was like 1,000 in person. It was crazy. I didn't even get to see most of the people I saw last year. Um, and so this year, a lot of the RDC experience was brought down because of me. So both my girlfriend and I were sick. I had withdrawal from forgetting my medication, and I got food poisoning. I was like, oh man. But despite all of that, I actually had a good time at RDC. I think the best part about RDC is seeing other people. I mean, the breakout sessions are nice and the keynotes are nice, but the best part about RDC is just being able to network and take advantage of opportunities. I'm very much a people person, and so being with like-minded people and having fun with them is just all I really want. I wish there were more networking events like RDC, but just stripping out the keynotes and the breakout sessions so that all it is just you with the developers.
You are lucky because this is what we are trying to build. So keep in
Awesome.
touch, and you'll be networking, but not just networking, but networking and have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks to our platform, and also you'll be able to team up um, with many talents, and this can inspire new creations maybe.
Yeah.
Sorry to ask, but you mentioned your girlfriend. Is she into Roblox too?
Yes. She's a game developer for Make a Cake.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you soon in person, or at least in a new project. We never
Yeah.
know.
That would be awesome. Thanks for having me here. It was really fun answering your
Uh,
question.
yeah, thanks a lot. Bye bye. See you.
Bye. See ya.